Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1695. We're getting so close to 1700, aren't we? Now, I bring you morsels of a thought, thoughts of wisdom from other people. When you know the right thing to do for yourself, that's wisdom. And when you actually do it, that's the action. That's committing acts of virtue. We want more virtue in the world, so I'm bringing them along with morsels of a thought every morning to you consecutively. So, right now we are borrowing wisdom from George J. Chanos, the former Nevada Attorney General. He wrote this book, Millennial Samurai, book one, and it is a mindset for the 21st century. So we're on page 64 at the moment. We have some quotes on the topic of collaboration, number 23. Steve Jobs, co founder of Apple Inc., said, "Great things in business are never done by one person, they're done by a team of people." Mhm, mhm, mhm. Collaboration, says the author, and that's George J. Chanos, says collaboration is critical to the success of any endeavor. Working with people who have different perspectives or oh, that's my cat moving this thing. Don't do that, Chloe. Baby. Working with people who have different perspectives or areas of expertise can result in better ideas and outcomes. Leaders understand the importance of collaboration, whether you're designing a car, a building, a manufacturing or distribution process, an inventory management system, or a phone. Input from multiple disciplines and a diverse array of core competencies is a critical part of the design process. Input from designers, manufacturers, engineers, technologists, material suppliers, buyers, advertisers, and consumers all have a significant influence on the design process. Andrew Carnegie said, American industrialist and philanthropist, said, "Teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision, the ability to direct individual accomplishments toward organizational objectives. It is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results." Why is collaboration necessary? According to Benjamin Jones, a strategy professor at the Kellogg School, part of the reason is specialization. According to Jones's research, our individual knowledge base is becoming more and more specialized, and the share of what we know as individuals is declining. I have to mention here, I saw a podcast on, uh, I want to say it was Richard Reich, Reich that we are no, it's not Richard Reich. It was Chris Williams. It was about how we are becoming, we're getting closer and closer to dementia because we are using AI and we're not interacting with anything. When we interact, we stave off dementia. But when we're getting information from ChatGPT, then we're passively getting the information, which will uh, assert more dementia later. So be careful. Interact your brain with people, with things, with people. Interact, interact, interact. Okay, back to the author. Jones points to the Wright brothers as an example. In 1903, two men designed and flew an airplane. Today, a Boeing 787 has dozens of specialists working on the engine alone. Quote, "There's just so much going on in designing, building, and flying that plane." End quote, Jones says. There is an incredible range of specialized skills. Over time, this is an ongoing, never-ending phenomenon of increased specialization, which is ever increasing the demand for collaboration. Jones's research confirms the value of collaboration. According to Jones, in the 1950s and 60s, in lots of fields, solo beat teams. It's flipped. Now, teams always have a higher home run probability than solo. Finding the right balance is the key. Today's digital workplaces simplify and facilitate collaboration. A digital workplace is a platform that empowers individuals, teams, clients, and partners to share information, communicate their thoughts, and collaborate without delay and with minimum effort. Yet, even with the advantages of improved technology, collaborating isn't always easy. Collaboration often involves leveraging the talents of people from different disciplines, different cultures, different age groups, different socioeconomic backgrounds, and different sexes. Group members typically have varied backgrounds, biases, and beliefs. They may have generational, religious, sexual, cultural, and or political differences. Leaders need to be skilled at motivating, inspiring, facilitating, and harnessing the talents of these diverse groups to achieve the extraordinary results that are often only possible through effective collaboration. Leaders also need to be able to identify and reward those who contribute to collaborative efforts. Research at Harvard University shows that in most cases, 20 to 35% of value added collaborations come from only 3 to 5% of employees. As people become known for being both capable and willing to help, they are typically drawn into projects and roles of increasing importance. A 2017 study led by Ning Lee of the University of Iowa shows that a single, quote, extra miler, end quote, an employee who frequently contributes beyond the scope of his or her role, can drive team performance more than all the other members combined. Steve Steve Kerr, Kerr, former GE Chief Learning Officer, says leaders are hoping for a collaboration while leaders are hoping for A, collaboration while rewarding B, individual achievement. They must instead learn how to spot and reward people who do both. Millennial samurai are skilled at contributing to and leading collaborative efforts. I've met some millennials that are very good at leading. They are very, very good at leading. They're only 20 something, so, or maybe 30. Okay, we're on number 24, and we are reading George J. Chanos's book, Book One, no, Millennial Samurai, Book One, A Mindset for the 21st Century, and Morsels of a Thought of Wisdom, number 1695 today. Now, morsels of a thought are for you to know what to do, and then actually doing it is the action, is the magic that brings on virtue. Okay. So Charles Darwin is quoted here, English naturalist, geologist, and biologist. He says, it is not the strongest of the species, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. Now, there was this lizard that accidentally crawled into a pit. And in this pit, the lizard saw all these dead animals. But this lizard had a snout that was about a foot long, and the nostrils were on the side, I mean, on the end. And he lifted up his nostrils and wound up breathing oxygen because in that pit was sulfur gas. sulfur dioxide, something or other, some poisonous gas. So that's how all the animals died. And he did the one thing that could save his life, which was he put his nose up and then could breathe up oxygen and then gain the strength to crawl out of the pit. Now that's adaptation. He adapted to the situation at hand immediately. So we know that adaptation is the most important thing, because this lizard might not have been the strongest and it might not have been the most intelligent, but it was the quickest at adapting to the situation at hand and getting his nose out of poison. That was cool. I saw it on television. Okay, back to the author. George J. Chanos says, our ability to adapt and thrive in a variety of environments is one of the most defining characteristics of our species. Now, this section is called adaptation, if I didn't say that already. Now, Albert Einstein, German-born theoretical physicist, said, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. The ability to change. Now, the lizard probably never went like this, but did that time. Okay. Life can be difficult to navigate, especially in a rapidly changing environment. Our ability to adapt has always been an essential survival tool, and this ability will only prove more essential during the technological revolution, which will usher in a tsunami of social, political, and technological change. Nothing in our experience can adequately prepare us for what the world will be like 30 years from now. The changes that will be created by artificial intelligence, genomics, blockchain technology, 3D printing, cloud computing, robotics, and the Internet of Things are likely to exceed our wildest imagination. Industries will change, employment will change, governments will change. Social, religious, and political institutions that have existed for centuries will experience radical and unprecedented change. The need for adaptation will therefore be critical. Lifelong learning and reskilling will be essential to keep pace with changing technology. How we adapt to changing circumstances has a major influence on our health and well-being. Unhealthy adaptations include paranoia, passive aggression, projection, and fantasy. Healthy adaptations include humor, anticipation, which is planning for change, and sublimation, channeling aggression into exercise or sports. Embrace change as a positive. Allow it to help you grow as an individual. Use it to help you develop mentally and physically. Don't fear change. Celebrate it. Instead of thinking about how things can go wrong, think about how things can go right. Accept some uncertainty as a normal part of life. Don't expect to know everything or assume that everything will be perfect. Accept each ending with a sense of gratitude and each beginning with a sense of excitement. Create strategies for tackling new problems and meeting new challenges. Be alert to opportunities and open to new experiences. If you experience self doubt, think about all the things that you have accomplished in the past. Reflect upon your qualities and competencies until you feel assured. When resilient people face ambiguity and anxiety, they use the experience to grow stronger. Resilient people embrace change and excel at adaptation. That lizard was probably walking with his nose high up in the air forever. Anyway, they identify opportunities, resilient people, identify opportunities in adverse environments, and believe in their ability to succeed in the face of uncertainty. They have a clear vision of what they want to accomplish, and they use this vision to guide them through uncertainty. They employ creativity to generate ideas and approaches for responding to change. They draw on others for support, guidance, and assistance, and act in the face of uncertainty, taking calculated risks rather than seeking the false comfort of complacency. Depending on the situation, one of these traits may be more important than another. One situation may require you to be flexible, while another may require you to think of a wide range of options. Still, another might require you to stay focused on your objective. Each of these characteristics can be developed through practice, mindfulness, meditation, and self affirmation. Every change creates opportunity, and every successful adaptation makes you stronger. Millennial samurai are always prepared to change and adapt. We are reading Millennial Samurai, Book One, A Mindset for the 21st Century by George J. Chanos, former Nevada Attorney General. We're on number 25, Intensity. We're trying to get wisdom. Morsels of a thought bring you wisdom. This is for other people's wisdom. We borrow from people's wisdom, and we try to get instructions on our own life, what to do to ourselves. We we commit acts of virtue by doing the right things. Knowing the right thing to do is a form of wisdom. Doing it is called virtue. And as George J. Chanos himself says, action is what creates the virtue. Action is what creates that act of virtue. You can't have virtue without action. That's what he said. Cal Newport, Georgetown professor and author of Deep Work, said, to produce at your peak level, you need to work for extended periods with full concentration on a single task, free from distraction. According to Newport, the type of work that optimizes your performance is, quote, deep work, end quote. He defines deep work as, quote, professional activities performed in a state of distraction free concentration that push your cognitive capabilities to their limit, which then create new value, improve your skill, and are hard to duplicate. Newport says, if you're not comfortable going deep for extended periods of time, it'll be difficult to get your performance to the peak levels of quality and quantity increasingly necessary to thrive professionally. In an article written for Inc., Jessica Stillman discusses Newport's findings and profiles the intense work ethic of Bill Gates. In early 1975, Bill Gates, at a Harvard sophomore, typed line after line of code that would become the software behind Microsoft. Gates, his business partner Paul Allen, and a Harvard math student named Monty Davidoff spent 2 weeks in the school's Aiken lab, AIKEN lab. Gates was relentless. In a piece in Business Insider, author Walter Isaacson is quoted as writing the following in a 2013 issue of the Harvard Gazette. Quote, in the wee hours of the morning, Gates would sometimes fall asleep at the terminal. He'd be in the middle of a line of code when he'd gradually tilt forward until his nose touched the keyboard, Paul Allen said. After dozing an hour or two, he'd open his eyes, squint at the screen, blink twice, and resume precisely where he'd left off. A prodigious feat of concentration. Michael Jordan, 6-time NBA champion and 5-time MVP, says, obstacles don't have to stop you. If you run into a wall, don't turn around and give up. Figure out how to climb it Go through it or work around it. Hmm, 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 hmm. Professional athletes, musicians, and entertainers exhibit the same kind of intensity. Michael Jordan was known to have practiced for hours after completing his team's already grueling practice schedule. Venus and Serena Williams were up hitting tennis balls at 6 a.m. from the time they were 7 and 8 years old. Yahoo CEO Marissa Mayer routinely pulled all-nighters and worked 130-hour weeks while at Google. Ryan Seacrest hosts American Idol, appears 7 days a week on E exclamation point, hosts a daily radio show from 5 to 10 a.m., appears on the Today Show, runs a television production company, and in 2012, his company received a $300 million commitment in private equity funding to acquire even more businesses. Apple CEO Tim Cook begins emailing employees at 4:30 a.m. It's funny because I do that too. He's the first in the office and the last to leave. When starting his first company, Mark Cuban routinely stayed up until 2 a.m. reading about new software and went 7 years without a vacation. While launching Amazon, Jeff Bezos worked 12-hour days, 7 days a week, and stayed up until 3 a.m. to get books shipped. In virtually every example of extreme success, one common denominator emerges: intensity. It is a relentless and uncompromising drive to succeed, a willingness to do whatever it takes, and a level of commitment that goes above and beyond the norms of expected performance. Wow. Now, this next one is called Adulthood. This should be obvious, but it bears mentioning, especially for those who may be in any way unclear on the subject. In most states, the law recognizes you as an adult when you reach 18 years old. This creates a variety of legal rights and responsibilities. You now have the right to vote, to enter into contracts, and to marry. These are just some of your legal rights, all of which create corresponding responsibilities. You need to understand the significance of your new rights and responsibilities. The right to vote creates the need to stay informed. The right to contract creates the legal responsibility to honor your contracts. The right to marry creates moral, ethical, and legal responsibilities to others. Before you were 18, your parents were legally responsible for your welfare. Once you turn 18, you're responsible for yourself. That's a big change. Understand the significance of that change and embrace it. Think about the choices you're making. What are you posting on social media? How are you interacting with others? Who are your friends? What are you doing to improve your mind and enhance your skill set? What are your goals? What are you doing to earn money? And how are you spending what you do earn? What are you saving for emergencies or to make a down payment on a car or a home? Are you going to school? Are you using the free educational resources available on the internet? Are you learning about the online source resources that can help you start your own business? Are you reading, exercising, and or volunteering? What are you doing to expand your network of contacts or to build a support system? Are you even thinking about these issues, or are you making excuses for not doing so? Train yourself to think ahead and try to anticipate the consequences of your choices. Be prepared to accept responsibility for those choices and understand that taking action and failing to take action are both choices, each with its own consequences. It's time to start planning, designing, and living your one and only life. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Old Kinderhook.